Hi, welcome back to Ordinary People Doing Extraordinary Things. Today I'm going to sit down and have a conversation with an old friend of mine, Karen Wittke. I hope you enjoy this episode, and when it's all done, please like and subscribe.
Yes. Yeah.
So, introduce yourself, first of all.
Hi, my name is Karen, and I am a cautionary tale of what happens when you stop training and then try to make a comeback. Yeah, that's
Well,
me.
we all go through periods of that.
Yes.
So let's start off with a bit of history.
Okay.
Did you do sports as a kid?
I did. When I was younger, I was a swimmer, and then throughout junior high and high school, track and field and long distance running. And I went to OFSA, and that when I was in high school for track. So yes,
Oh, so you were a swimmer. Wow.
I was a swimmer when I was younger. Yes, yeah.
So then, obviously, going into triathlon wasn't as scary.
You know what? Oh, wetsuits made it a bit scary, getting accustomed to that in the open water. I mean, it's certainly a lot different than swimming in a pool. But I was a confident swimmer from the beginning. Yeah, I was. I wasn't worried. I wasn't worried about my swim. Cycling was my big fear because I hadn't ridden a bike since I was a kid when I first got into triathlon, and so I was lucky. My girlfriend and I decided to do it together, and we hired a coach who taught us how to, get up and down hills and how to corner and things like that we weren't familiar with. So
Okay. And so you were saying that you ran,
mhm.
you were a runner before you were into triathlon. Let's talk
Yes.
about that.
I had reached an age in my life where I was in my 40s, and I was starting to, I think like a lot of people, starting to maybe not feel my age yet, but starting to worry about my age. That I didn't want to be a couch potato. I wanted to do something more. And so I joined the running room, like a lot of people do. I joined the running room and did a learn to run program, and quickly worked my way up to 10Ks and half marathons. And then just decided I wanted something more, and not more because I was like a type A and wanted to challenge myself. Triathlon just looked really cool. It just looked like a really cool sport. And, getting into sports when you're older after really long hiatus, injury is a concern. And, being able to cycle a couple of days of the week and swim a couple of days of the week instead of pounding the pavement was appealing, right? I
Okay.
was worried about injury.
And
So
how did you come to find triathlon? Did somebody
Google,
introduce you?
nope,
Pardon me?
Google.
Well, Google.
Google, and I found C3. I Googled it and I found C3. And I mean, it's all a bit hazy, and I don't know whether I had, I'm sure I had reached out to C3, and Barry Shepley got right back to me.
Oh,
And
the Shepley Vortex.
we're all part of the Shepley Vortex. And so, Barry had reached out to me right away, myself and my girlfriend. And we came up to either a run or a swim, something. We probably showed up at the quarry, and yeah, it was just a really good fit. And he put us in touch with Sean Betchell, who kind of took us under his wing, and we started working with Sean in addition to all the regular C3 workouts.
Okay. And so Sean coached you?
Yeah, yeah. Sean made up a training program for us, and yeah, to build us up. And I don't know whether it was just I don't know. We went and we did our first half iron 6 months into triathlon training. We did
Oh, wow.
we did Barrelman. Whether it was stupid or maybe we weren't scared. We were just, why not? And we did it. So we were already
Now,
running, and I think that was probably the saving grace, is that we were already runners, and I could already swim. So cycling, wasn't that hard at that point, right?
okay.
So
And Barrowman is a half
half
Ironman
Ironman distance. Yeah.
in the Niagara Falls region.
Yep, that's correct. Yeah.
And you swim in a rowing basin.
Yeah, you swim in the canal. You swim in the Welland Canal.
Yeah,
Right?
well,
Yeah.
the old Welland Canal.
The old Welland Canal. Yeah.
If you swam in the new one, you'd run into a boat.
All I remember about Niagara Falls is that it was really, really hot and the run was horrible because it was just a really hilly run. It was a really hilly, hot run. So
What year was that?
that would have been 2016, probably 2016.
Okay, so
Ironman.
yeah, that course was quite hilly, and you had to do it twice, if I remember
We had to do
correctly.
it twice, and while we did it, and we and completed it successfully, and by successfully means we crossed the finish line. It was a race to complete, not to compete, and so we were one of the last few finishers, probably crossing the line, right? But that's okay. Everyone stands around to cheer for you, and you feel quite good coming in. So yeah, and by that, then so we had that early success in long distance, and it just so then it just made you want to do the full, right? Because that's what's next, right?
So you did a full as well?
I did the full the following year in 2017.
And which race was that?
Chattanooga in Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Nice.
I did the half iron, Muskoka half iron.
You did Muskoka as well.
Yeah, I did Muskoka in the summer in June, and then I did Chattanooga in September in Tennessee. So the following year.
Muskoka would have been July.
Was it July?
Yeah, it's always July 11th or 12th, 13th in that area.
I'm pretty sure it was July. Pretty sure it was June 25th in 2017.
No.
Really?
No. It's always been July.
Really? Well, okay. Well, I did the Muskoka. And then I did Chattanooga.
Right? And Muskoka's always been a tough race.
It was. My training partner DNF'd at Chattanooga, at Muskoka, and she didn't want to continue. She didn't want to do Chattanooga after that. So I lost my training partner. Yeah, about 2.5 months prior to the Ironman. So that was tough.
Do you know that person?
Sorry?
Do I know that person? Your training partner?
Sylvia? No. You probably would have seen us together at the quarry, but you probably wouldn't remember her,
Okay.
And she just, Ironman can be expensive, and especially if you're traveling for one. So she just decided, because she DNF'd at Muskoka, she didn't want to invest all the money she didn't think she would be able to do the full if she couldn't complete the half.
Okay.
So she quit. And so that was hard, because then my final, 2.5 months training, where all the heavy weeks are coming in with the long runs and the long bikes, you're kind of on your own, and that's hard. You had asked me before, what was the hardest thing about training, or what's the hardest thing about training? And I think it's training alone. When you're doing long distance, it's hard to go out and I've never been built for speed. Endurance is more for me. So, but I'm not really ridiculously fast. So, what you might run in 4 hours is going to take me 6. So it's a long day out when you're out there by yourself, and I'm fortunate enough that, when as a C3 member, I had incredible teammates stepped up and all join you for a bike, or, and so people would help you get through it. But it's a hard when you've got to get up and you've got to go for that 30K training run alone, right?
On a Sunday morning.
On a Sunday morning, and everyone else is going to a barbecue or doing nothing. And you're out alone, pounding the streets. So yeah. It was lonely, but got it done, right?
Or you do a 30-kilometer run in the morning, and then you go to the barbecue in the afternoon, and you're falling asleep at the barbecue, and everybody's wondering what's wrong with you.
No, I think you go to the barbecue and you brag. Oh, just out doing a 30K.
I can have that piece of cake. I just ran 30K.
Yeah. So yeah. So there you go. Yeah.
So what other races? You just did the one full Ironman?
The one full iron. And I think in retrospect, I may have done it too quickly. I think that if I could go back in time, I may not have done it quite so fast. You had asked me, kind of what are you training for? What do you train for? And now it's different. When I was doing it back then, everything was about the Ironman. Everything was about the Ironman, training for the Ironman. And so when the Ironman was done, I was done, if that makes
Right.
sense. I was done.
Yeah.
And Barry Shepley from C3, he called me and he warned me, and he said, Karen, he said, this happens to a lot of athletes. He said, don't quit. He said, a lot of people do that Ironman and then they stop. And that's exactly kind of what happened. I did some things half-assed, but didn't really have that commitment I did before. And I think because back then I was training for the Ironman. So when it was done, I was done. This time around, I'm training for myself, period. I've signed up for a few sprints this summer just to have something to kind of look forward to, because I think racing is fun. But this time I'm training for myself. So when I hit that kind of goal, which is the race, it's not over. There's not an end point now. Before, Ironman signified an end point. And for people who do long distance triathlon, when you're training 20 hours or so a week and more, if you're a slower athlete, you just want to be done too. You're just done. So if I had built up slowly with more of the goal of myself instead of something external, I probably, in retrospect, maybe not stopped like I did. So, because I've been giving this a lot of thought lately, and of course, when you come back after something like this, you've got all of these thoughts in the back of your head. It's hard to come back because you're going, what if I hadn't have quit? Can you imagine how fit I would have been now? How possibly thin I could have been now? So you've got that. It's exciting to get back, but you've got that negative voice constantly in the back of your head calling you an idiot the whole time, where you're out struggling now to do a 5K because you're winded at the end and you're not used to it, where it was nothing before. You used to be like, oh, it's only a 5K run. Whew, that's awesome. And now it's like, oh, 5K. Oh my goodness. So it's hard. And I'm slow. Everything is digital now. So, I did some fitness tests again the other day, and I was putting my data into Garmin and Training Peaks, and it pulls up your best times from God knows how long ago. And then you've got just in your face that side-by-side comparison of how big of a failure you've become. So, it's hard to come back, I think, mentally more than anything.
And how long of a break was it?
Like a serious stop, probably 7 years now. 7 years.
Wow.
I would try to come back a few times. I mean, I would call Barry Shepley from C3 and that's the one thing I'll give when you're part of a team or you have a group of people who are behind you. Every time I reach out to Barry, he acts like it's the greatest thing in the world that I'm going to come back, and there's no embarrassment and there's no shame. And so it doesn't matter how many times I attempt to come back and haven't come back. It's always the same welcoming sort of open arms when I do, reach out to Barry. It's like the mob. You can never quite get away. Right. So
I think because we're all in the same boat as you, we may not take 7 years off, but we take 3 months off, and you feel like you're starting over again from scratch.
And life gets in the way. I mean, I did other things. I mean, I took up Tai Chi and stuff, but it's not the same as that kind of endurance that where you need that fitness level to just keep going and going and going. Right.
Right.
So a couple of sprints this summer for me, just to keep things fun. And then over the winter, when it comes to winter maintenance, then I'll decide whether I want to do maintenance building up to like a half or just keep with the sprints and keep it short and fun. and keep the training distances short. I mean, it's still hours of training every week, but it's not, it's not a full-time job, right?
How many hours a week do you train now?
Right now, 5 or 6,
Okay.
It's not a lot, when, 45 minutes in the pool, an hour on the bike, a half-hour run, but every day, 7 days a week, it's something, right? So.
And then how many hours did you train before for Ironman?
It was probably about 20 or so a week, easily 20 a week.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. So, and that was fit, and I was physically fit. I mean, I wasn't ridiculously thin, but I could go out and cycle 150 kilometers on a Saturday after a 4K swim and run 30K the next day. So, now I couldn't even imagine the length of time it would take me to do something like that. Right.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah. But it's also about injury too. I mean, I'm closer to 60 than not. And so injury is definitely on in the back of my mind all the time, because I feel it. You go for that first run outside on the pavement and I feel it. I feel it in my hips. I feel it in my shins, not injury, but it's just that constant reminder to come back slowly, because I don't want to stop now. I love triathlon. I love the sports. Like, I genuinely, if this is the way, if somebody said you could pick anything in the world to get fitness back and feel good, it's going to be triathlon. It's wonderful,
Hear you.
And if you're sick of one thing, I don't feel like running, you can always get on the bike. Like, you can, it's just a really great sport. And the people are great, right? The people are great. And it's cool. And it sounds cool when you tell people. Hey, once an Ironman, always an Ironman. So,
exactly.
So
I'll give you one pointer. Strength training.
I am starting a couple of times a week doing strength.
Biggest things people make is they entirely go to endurance training.
Yeah.
They run, swim, bike, but they don't do strength training. And at our age, it's very important.
Really important, and of course, I'm a postmenopausal woman, so it's even more important because we're already losing bone density and, and muscles and stuff like that. So, yeah. So this time back, do I envision doing long distance again? I don't know. I mean, there's something pretty cool at the thought of doing another Ironman, right? But I'm going to take my time getting there and really develop the good habits and make sure I'm doing it for myself, not just the bragging rights of being able to say I've done it. Right.
You have done it now.
I have done it. Been there, done that,
Exactly.
Got the tattoo.
Lisa and Trent and I, we kind of put it in our heads that we probably won't do any more full Ironman. Just the halves, because they're more fun. You do the race, you're finished at 2:00, you're out for a cocktail by 3:00, and you can enjoy the afternoon.
And there's more options. I mean, I'm in Canada, obviously, and there's only one full Ironman in Canada now. So unless you plan to travel, there's not a lot of options. There's not a lot of options for a full one, where there are several options for half iron up here, half iron distance, right? So that don't require, the logistics of getting your bike there and getting you there and finding hotel. Like, it's just, it'll just be easier. Right. But I do like the idea of doing definitely maybe a half at some point again. Maybe not Muskoka. It's a pretty hilly bike, if I remember.
It's actually changed since you've done it.
Is
now, it? Yeah. Now it's, I don't know when you did it, they start at the high school in town.
Yeah, I don't even
You
remember.
probably started at Deerhurst.
I thought it was like some sort of big rec century type thing.
Oh, so you did
cultural center or something.
Yeah, in town.
Yeah, I think that's where I went from, 20 I just remember Barry saying that if you can do Muskoka, you can probably do any of them, right? Because Muskoka was hilly,
It still is hilly, but it's not as bad as it was when we used to leave from Deerhurst.
Yeah.
Now you go out 45 kilometers and you come back 45.
45. But the thing is, hills are relative. I mean, Chattanooga, when I did it, they've changed the bike course since I've done it as well. When I did it, it was 188 kilometers. There was an extra 8 kilometers. So
wow.
So the Chattanooga Ironman was actually a 144.6, not a 140. And you actually cycled from Tennessee down into Georgia and then back up into Tennessee. And it was it was rolling hills. But I cycled in Caledon. So right. So rolling hills were nothing. You get triathletes coming from Florida and that. And, at that point I think I was around 50 when I did Chattanooga. And, I was cycling with ease up hills where you're watching 20-something-year-old guys get off their bike to push them. I mean, it depends where you train too, right?
Right. Exactly.
So yeah, there's something to be said for cycling in Caledon. That's for sure. I'll probably do some cycling down there this summer because it's flat up here. It seems like just flat where I live now. Yeah, I guess unless you went up by the ski resorts, because I'm not too. I'm pretty close to like Horseshoe Valley and the ski resorts now. So
right, yeah,
but it's pretty flat. It's farms. It's farms. It's all flat fields, right? So
yeah, I hear you.
It's all farmland up here. So
yeah, there's quite a few rail trails around there too, I hear.
There are, but I'm minutes from a rail trail. I could jump on my bike and just cycle right down to one. I ran on the rail trail this morning. I went out for a run and on the rail trail, but it's flat. And as wonderful as flat is, it's not doing me any favors running on flat, right?
Yeah.
I need to find some hills, right? Or I'm going to be in a fair bit of trouble. So
right. So how has endurance sports changed your life?
Oh, geez. I thought about this and there's a number of things. Friends, obviously. I mean, you just meet a lot of wonderful people. And I think I don't know. I just found everyone I've met in triathlon that I've met have just been really open and very generous with their knowledge, with their training tips, with their time. And are always welcoming, like welcome you back, like you were never gone. There's a lot to be said for that. I don't think you can underestimate the value of that type of camaraderie that you get with people, because it's something that other people don't share. You can't share. Even with my husband, he doesn't understand what it's like to do this type of stuff or want to do this type of stuff. Most people look at you and think you're crazy to want to do that. So definitely the friends, definitely health and fitness changes your life. You know what it's like to be really fit and healthy. Maybe not right now, but I'll get back there again. And confidence, the confidence to know that you're capable of something like that, where such a minute portion of the population ever tries something like that. And not only have you done it, you've succeeded at it. That's a confidence you'll carry with the rest of your life, that regardless of what task. And of course, change your life, bragging rights. Once an Ironman, always an Ironman. So that's something you can always, feels good to be able to do that.
Right? Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's nothing negative about it. I can't think of anything negative about endurance sport, or even like there's something really nice, even if you're going out and you're going to be on the bike for 5 or 6 or 7 hours, whatever it is, when you're going out with a group of people. What a positive, wonderful experience, right? It's enjoyable, right? And anyone who's done it would say the same thing, right?
Right.
So no negatives, all positive.
So that's good.
Yeah. There you go.
Do you have any bucket list races?
Bucket list, honestly, I keep looking at that, maybe not a bucket list, but Ottawa, Canada, like the Ironman Canada, to do it in the capital city is I think that's kind of neat, right? But no, I wish there was, right? But I have to avoid that too. I think that's the trap, right? For me, it is.
Right.
Like,
Okay.
I have that type of personality where I'm a conqueror person, been there, done that. It's a part of my personality too. Been there, done that. So I have to actually, it's probably best I don't even try to pick a bucket list. It's
Right.
better for me to avoid that, because that's what I think in retrospect was one of my downfalls the last time.
And just,
Because then if I go, oh, I really want to do that, and then I train it, then I've done it.
then you're done.
And then I'm done. And I have to avoid, I have to just start this as something for me and not the challenge of hitting that sort of pinnacle or hitting that race.
Right.
You have to find enjoyment from the training. Somebody asked me once when I was training for the Ironman for Chattanooga, they asked me if I enjoyed the training. And I answered, I remember my answer. And I said, I don't know if I enjoy the training as much as I enjoy the idea of what I'm training for. And I think right there, that was the indicator. I wasn't necessarily enjoying pounding the pavement alone. I love being with the friends and that, but it was always something else, right?
Right.
The race was the prize, not the health, not the actual process. And I think the process, particularly when you do endurance sports, has to be the focus. I've met lots of athletes who have said they love the training. They could train all the time. Oh, I fall apart on race day, but that's okay because I love the training. And I need to change my shift from loving the race to loving the training, right?
Right.
I think that doesn't sound stupid, right?
No, it doesn't sound stupid at all.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
I hope. We'll find out. We'll find out if you talk to me again in 5 years as I'm trying to come back again. But I think this time, like I said, I think I've figured out the things that were my issues. And again, I'm older and that nag about getting older and not being physically fit. They say that, what is it? One of the number one reasons people go into old age homes is they can't get off a toilet. Right.
Right.
And so what I'm doing now is hopefully going to prevent that when I'm 80. Right. So
I hear you.
Crazy. We're at an age you got to think about that stuff. I know I
Oh.
look stunning for my age, but it's definitely getting up there. Right. So
Well, you haven't hit 60 yet. So
I'm getting pretty close. So there you go.
they say you go through 2 stages in life of major changes, one at 40
Yeah.
and one at 60. And I definitely felt it when I hit 60.
Did you?
Yes.
Did you really? See, and
Yeah.
you're very athletic and you're very athletic. So you've always maintained that fitness. Issues aside, you never just stopped. Like you didn't stop. And like I said, I did some other stuff. I did Tai Chi, but Tai Chi really isn't fitness. It's, moving meditation. It's not quite the same, right? So how, I'm surprised that you really felt it at 60. Was it more mental or physical?
I think it was physical, but I think it was also a combination of I had my surgery the year before, and that's always in your brain. Like, did the surgery do something to me? And I also had a big problem. It wasn't after my surgery, but like a year later, my breathing. Like I said earlier, my breathing, like I can't swim more than 100 meters right now without having to stop to catch my breath.
See, and that does sound like heart. It like, because like I said, I have leaky valves. And that's one of the things. I'm winded. I'm always winded. I will never be a person who isn't winded. It's just the way it's going to be. So that's why, to me, that's almost what it sounds like. But you've gotten checked out. So,
And how did you handle that in swimming?
I
Being wounded.
I breathe bilaterally. Like I breathe. Like I just one side, the other side. So
Okay. I can't do that.
yeah.
I breathe on my right side and that's it.
No. I swim. I breathe on both sides every swim. Right. So
But you were a swimmer as a kid.
I was a swimmer when I was a kid.
I learned to swim in my 30s.
Oh, did
late
you?
late 30s. Yeah,
It's surprising that it is and it isn't. So many people come to the sport not able to swim or not strong swimmers, but they get over that, right? Like we all know lots of people who weren't strong in the swimming and ended up doing Ironman, you know?
exactly.
So,
The first race I ever did was the Niagara Triathlon, or Niagara Sprint, they call it, but
okay.
it's actually in Grimsby. And
Okay.
I walked down to the water and saw the swim course in Lake Ontario. I almost got in the car and went home. It was, and it
That's
was only
okay.
seven. It was only 700 meters, and I'm like, it looks so daunting. I did the side stroke, the whole the whole swim. Like I tried front crawl. Like I mastered the front crawl before I did the race, but then I did like 100 meters of front crawl, and I was like side stroke the whole rest of the race. I looked back behind me when I walked out on the shore, and there was one person behind me.
Was
That
there?
was like, ugh.
Walter and I are doing Gravenhurst in June. And they take
That's
you
the
out.
that's
That's
the
the
jump
jump.
off the boat.
That's the jump off the boat. And I'm not worried about that. Like I said, I'm a strong swimmer and I'm a
Right.
confident swimmer. And when I say I'm a confident swimmer, I'm confident enough to know that if I get into trouble, that I can roll onto my back, catch my breath, and relax. And I think that's what I'm confident that I won't panic regardless of the situation. I think that's what makes me calm.
Right.
To be honest, I am a real baby when it comes to the cold water. So, and I don't like wets. I'm not a big fan of wearing wetsuits. I did Ironman Chattanooga without a wetsuit. So I just swam it with my tri-suit on. I didn't wear a wetsuit. So I just don't, the thought of jumping into that cold, cold water is
When is Gravenhurst?
June. June,
Oh,
it's
so
going to be cold. They say it right on the website. They say, you know what? You're going to want to wear a full wetsuit. It's going to be cold. And so
you know, you
I'm
know
one
who
of
you
those
could.
people that take like a half an hour to get into the water at the quarry. You know, I walk in and stand there for like an hour and then another. I don't like that jolt of the cold. So Gravenhurst's going to be nasty, that jump.
You know who you could talk to about water temperature there is Jesse the Elf.
Oh,
You know
geez.
who you know
I
who
know.
that is?
Who doesn't know Jesse the Elf, right?
He's in Boston this weekend.
Is he? He's fast.
Yes. Well, he's not.
He used to be fast. I haven't seen him in a
He's
long
still
time.
he's still fast, but he's not where he wants to be.
Right, right. But
So
anyway, yeah, I'm doing the jump, and
he's done Gravenhurst so many times.
yeah. The other thing, the two, because when I did Chattanooga, because Chattanooga gets really hot. They've changed it again. They've changed when they run Chattanooga because Chattanooga, believe it or not, had one of the highest DNF rates
Oh,
because of the
really?
heat. It's the heat. The heat, it was just so bad. I mean, so when I did it, it was wetsuit optional. So like I said, I'm not a big fan of wearing wetsuits anyway. So I went without it, but there's not a mass start at Chattanooga. You're basically jumping 2 or 3 at a time off of a wharf, right into the river. And so the rules for Chattanooga were, if you were not wearing a wetsuit, you go to the front of the line.
Oh,
So
really?
when you're talking about thousands of people in a line that are only jumping 2 or 3 at a time, I was out of the water, 4K down the river, where there were people still not in the water.
Wow.
So the advantage too to that was I was going through transition. It was empty. You know, there wasn't a lot of people. I was on the bike. There was no crowding bikes around me. And I was out of the bike and onto the run, like not in the middle of the day. Like you saved yourself some time, an hour, if only that, out of that really hot sun.
Right.
You know, you were on your bike an hour earlier. That was one less hour in the hot sun you had to be out there. So there was definitely advantages to doing without it, right?
Yeah, which makes a huge
And
difference
it's
in
a
Ironman.
fast swim. Like Chattanooga is a fast swim. So
I hear sometimes the river current pulls you there.
absolutely. So my quarry time would be an hour and around, it was around an hour, between an hour 15 and an hour 20, right? To do 4 laps at the quarry. And without a wetsuit, I was like 1 hour at Chattanooga. So that's a big chunk off of the time without a wetsuit. If I'd worn a wetsuit, I would have definitely been sub an hour. Yeah.
You were an hour for an Ironman swim.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Without a wetsuit.
Without a wetsuit.
Without a wetsuit. So, I mean, if I had worn a wetsuit and had that extra, buoyancy, I mean, I would have definitely been under an hour. Yeah.
My fastest Ironman swim is like an hour 30.
Oh yeah. No, I've never been that slow.
I'm slow.
No. Yeah, no, it's a it can be a fast swim. It depends on the river. Sometimes, sometimes it's not flowing the way I guess it was when I was. But the advantage too, what I learned, if there's anything I learned, and like I said, I'm very inexperienced Ironman compared to people who have done 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and do all the different ones, is you really have to utilize the internet. And there are, like for Chattanooga, there are private Chattanooga groups on Facebook and things like that. And you really should join those things because you get the insider tips. So say for Chattanooga, which is a river, I mean, somebody said, hey, if you swim closer to the center, you'll catch more of the current. That's a really good tip to get. Okay. They don't put that stuff in race reports. No. Right. So you definitely want to utilize everything you can, with regard to the best way to approach your race. Right. Right. So they're insider tip for those who are just getting started. Right. Yeah.
Any other insider tips?
What?
I said, any other insider tips for beginners?
For beginners, trust the training. Really trust the training. That's the only thing I can say, and just enjoy it. Like enjoy the training, but trust the training. It's surprising because even right now, coming back and I'm doing fitness tests every 8 weeks to track my progress, and I swear, I'm running slower than I can walk right now because I'm trying to keep things in zone 2. I'm trying to minimize injury and that, and my fitness tests, while they're still slow in comparison to where I used to be, they're definitely jumping. The improvement is there. And if you had asked me, I would have said, I don't see a difference, but the numbers don't lie. So trust the training. Even if it feels like you're not getting anywhere, you really are. You are, right?
Right.
So.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So there you go. And enjoy your teammates, right? Enjoy your teammates. Right. And a good club can do a lot for you too.
Yes, I hear that.
Yeah. Well, we're lucky. We've had the C3 is a great club. Right.
I've noticed that places I go in the US for work, I always look up clubs, triathlon clubs, running clubs, that kind of thing. And some areas there's like 0. Like this area, there's no triathlon.
There's none up here where I've moved to. So I'm in Oro Medonte. So I'm in between Barrie and Aurelia. There's nothing. There's no
one in Barrie.
Gone, defunct.
Oh,
the
really?
Barrie Bay Cats is no more. So there's nothing up here.
Wow.
Nothing. There's nothing. Right. So, I mean, one of the reasons why for me, I'll drive down to Caledon. Right.
Right.
I'll drive down to Caledon. Now, Lucy and Walter, they're swimming in Shanty Bay, but to me, there's too much boat traffic in Shanty Bay. I'm just not comfortable with that.
Right. I hear you on that.
So I'm not interested in that. So, I mean, I told Lucy and Walter like a couple of weeks ago, I said, well, I've re-upped with C3, I'm going to go swim at the quarry. Right. So, yeah, I'm not going out in Shanty Bay. So
I don't know if you know, I live in Muskoka, Port Sydney, and we have a lake there. And a couple of years ago, I was swimming in the lake right by our house, and I wouldn't go for.
Wait. So Port Sydney. Okay. So how close are you to Stevenson Side Road 2? Close?
I live on Stevenson Side Road 2.
You are?
Yeah.
So is my girlfriend. Okay, so there you go. You live like right up by my girlfriend. Yeah.
So how close to Highway 11 is she?
She's on the river.
She
So
might be a
she's close.
little.
I mean, she gets off on Stevenson Road and then maybe it's like 5 minutes down the road to her place. So
Okay, she may be close to us. Um, yeah, I live with my brother, and we just moved there this year.
so how are you gonna still continue with C3 down there? And
I yeah, I belong to the Muskoka Triathlon Club as well as C3,
okay.
so I have both options. But as you know, my friends are with C3, so I tend to
Well,
do.
hey, listen, if you ever want to carpool down, carpool. Listen, seriously, if you want to carpool down for a quarry swim on the weekend or even during the week if you're around, right?
I most times on weekends I'm already down. I'm usually at Carolyn's place, so
Oh yeah, the girlfriend, of course. That makes sense.
fiance, fiance.
Oh my God, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Um, that's
Is Barry taking credit for another C3 wedding coming up?
he is.
I thought so.
He's got Susan and my brain. Susan and
Yeah. Dawn Rockwell as well. Yeah.
yeah, and oh wow, my brain is just letting go of names. Tom Kitamura. I don't know if you,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, and um, now I can't remember his wife's name. Anyway, she wasn't really with C3, kind of, but she was his worked in his office.
Okay.
They got married, and then Sue, of course,
Yeah.
tall Sue.
Yeah.
Her Ian, her and
Ian.
Ian.
There it is. Susan and Ian. Yep. Yep. Yep.
He's gonna shoot me for not remembering his name.
That's
I
okay.
don't know.
Edit this part out.
Sorry.
This gets edited out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. 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 And Dawn and Steven. And so there you go, right? Like I
Yeah.
figured because Barry likes to take credit for that.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
He made sure he brought it up because he had a New Year's celebration at his house, and of course he made sure he brought it up then. Well, I don't think he found out that we were engaged until that party. Most people didn't know, but then Sue knew. So I think Sue told everybody.
Right. Right. Well, that's great. So do you have a date or are you just kind of playing it by ear with
No,
work?
no, we don't have a date yet.
You're going to do a big or do a small?
We were thinking something's probably small, something race destination. Everybody can come, do a race, have fun. Of course, it wouldn't be a full Ironman.
That's the one thing I wish I had done though. And I didn't do it because I had quit training. I had just done Chattanooga. I wish I had done Italy. I wish I went to Italy with everybody else when everybody
Italy
went
was
to Italy.
Italy was fun.
Yeah, that's one regret because there was no reason aside from the fact that I had just done Chattanooga and this and that I didn't go. Do you know what I mean? Like I was still
Right,
at that point fit enough. I could have done it. Do you know what I mean?
right.
But yeah, that's one I wish I had gone to. And I wish I had gone down and got back into training and gone and done Arizona for Patricia, because
Yeah.
when I lost my training partner, it was Patricia who stepped up and did all like most of the bikes and that with me. Right.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
wondered how Patricia fit in there.
Yeah. No, Patricia cycled with me like constantly after I lost my training partner. Right. I couldn't run with Patricia. She's way too fast.
Oh,
And it's
really?
funny because you have all those Facebook memories. And I used to be constantly trying to get Patricia to come swimming. And I see all these memories come up where I'm on Facebook saying, hey, at 6 a.m., Patricia, where's my coffee? Because she'd say she'd show up, at the quarry with coffee and she'd be responding something cheeky that she was still home in bed and that was a loss. Patricia was a big loss, It's very,
For
very
those for those of you listening, if if you don't know Patricia Lopez was a good friend of ours who was taken too soon by a dump truck that was out of control in Brampton and took her life in
Yeah.
2020. And we really miss her.
Yeah. She was always ready to go. And she always made you do more than you went to do. If you went to cycle 50 kilometers, she said, well, if you're going to do 50, you might as well do 70. Like, what's the point of getting out of bed for 50? She would always make you do more, and you just enjoyed it. She was just a wonderful person to be around. She's very missed. I think of her constantly, and with the week that she passed, she had texted me and said, when are you coming back? Like, I mean, that was the last thing she said to me. When are you coming back? You need to come back. Right. So
I did the Chile half with her one time, half marathon. And we were about halfway through, and I said, oh, Patricia, I got to walk for a second. And I went over to the side of the road and started walking. She's like, James, get back over here.
Right.
We're not walking.
Right. Yeah.
If I start walking, I won't be able to run again. So get over here.
Yeah. She was charming. She was just charming. You just laughed. And it's funny. I don't know anyone who just said, no, I'm stopping at 50, or no, I'm going to keep walking. If she said, move it, you moved it, and you laughed about it, and you did it.
Yeah.
She used to say, she said, it's not, I don't even get out of bed for anything less than 50 kilometers, she would say.
Yeah, that was for sure.
Yeah. So there you go. Anything else?
I think that's about it.
Good. Well, there it is. Cautionary tale. Don't quit. Slow down, cut back. Don't quit. Coming back is harder.
That's some good advice.
There you go.
Okay. Thank you. And this is my second episode of Ordinary People Doing Extraordinary Things.
Very ordinary.
Thank you for joining me. I know it took a lot for you to come and join me, but for those of you who like listening to people's stories, subscribe and like, and we'll have more in the future.
See you on the roads.